Hi everyone, welcome back. One of my favorite shows, Love is Blind, is back on Netflix. This time though, it's Love is Blind UK. And from the first episode, guys, it was so captivating. Am I rooting for Freddie and Catherine? I am. Let's talk about it. Hi everyone, welcome back. Thank you so much for tuning in today. One of my favorite shows, Love is Blind, is back on Netflix. This time though, it's Love is Blind UK. It's a new franchise season for the UK of Love is Blind, and I just started watching it, and you guys, it is so great. You guys already know that I love Love is Blind. I've reviewed, I believe, the last season of the one in the US, and so as soon as I saw the new one that came out for the UK, I was like, absolutely, I'm on it. I'm going to watch it. And from the first episode, guys, it was so captivating. It is super, super interesting. I will say it's up there with probably the first season of the Love is Blind US as my favorite in terms of all the seasons of Love is Blind. So guys, let's talk about it. So first, let's talk about Freddie. Freddie is this good-looking guy. He is very easygoing. He seems to be a sweetheart. Like, the first thing that I noticed about Freddie when I was watching it was just he comes across as being this very docile guy that just doesn't even think much about, anything else but just being sweet, that kind of thing. Like, that kind of vibe. And he is actually very good looking, which is funny because if you listen to him talk without seeing him, you will not actually guess that he looks the way that he does. You will probably think, oh, he must just be someone that is like, very funny, not so much about his looks, but just more about his character and things like that. But you would be wrong, because yes, he has a really nice personality, but that guy definitely looks after himself because he looks great. And so at the beginning, I was like, okay, I think he's going to be my favorite. I think he's going to be the one that I'm going to be rooting for the most. And he's still up there among the people that I'm rooting for, but like eventually I ended up liking other people on the show as well. But back to Freddie. So Freddie is talking to Catherine. Catherine is this, again, gorgeous girl. She seems great. She's talking to another guy as well, Ollie, which I'll get to in a little bit. And so I think from Freddie's side, Freddie very much likes Catherine, and I think he probably from the very onset kind of made up his mind she's the one that he wants to go for. Catherine, on the other hand, if you ask me, at the beginning was leaning more towards Ollie. But eventually, she's gonna end up with Freddie. Eventually, right? We get there in the episodes after like the first, second one. So am I rooting for Freddie and Catherine? I am. I think that Freddie's a great guy from what we've seen so far. I think that Catherine, I'm still trying to watch her to see if she's going to be compatible with Freddie. From what we've seen so far, she seems chill. She just seems like a normal, easygoing, good-looking girl. But we will have to see if the relationship can actually stand up to all the temptations that will come towards it, obviously, because we know, if you watch Love is Blind, you know that once they see each other and they spend time together and all of that, like a lot of the time the relationships don't work. So I don't know if I would say it's gonna work. I'm rooting for them, but I'm not 100% sure, Yeah, it just seems like it was almost too easy. And also because, like I said, I think Catherine was leaning towards Ollie all along. The only reason why she ended up not going for Ollie, cutting things off with Ollie and instead going for Freddie, I think, is because she realized at a certain point that Ollie was going to go for another girl called Demi. So I think that was her real reason, in my opinion, though. I don't know. You guys may have a different view on that, but that's what I observed. Oh, and I don't want to forget to tell you guys, when Freddie proposed to Catherine, he wrote a beautiful letter. That letter was so emotional. Like it goes back to my point when I tell you that like Freddie is a really sweet guy. He's just a really sweet guy. He's a sweetheart. So I loved that part. That was one of my favorite parts actually in the episode. But he was proposing to her with that letter. Let's talk about Ollie. So Ollie is this gorgeous looking guy who seems really cool. You know when you can listen to a guy talk and just from the way he sounds, he just gives you that chill, cool guy vibe. That's Ollie. Then in addition to sounding cool, he looks really good as well. So it's like, he almost seems like the too good to be true kind of package. That's what I wrote in my notes when I was watching it. Like, Ollie is great. He seems too good to be true. Like, where is the catch? That's what I wrote, right? But so far, he seems great. So far, there's no red flag, there's nothing. As a matter of fact, he's coming across as someone who's really ready to get married and start a family and who is in the show for the right reasons. He is absolutely coming across that way. And that's why, like, I'm actually rooting for him that he's able to find that. He was talking to Catherine and Demi. I think he liked them both, but found himself leaning more towards Demi because Demi was doing like very sweet things. Like on his birthday, she wrote, I think, a note, and then I think she baked something. Like she did stuff, right? I'm not quite sure, but she had a beautiful surprise for him. And I think that really moved him and touched him. And, you know, Catherine was just going more with the flow. Like she wasn't really trying hard. She was just being herself and kind of that was it. Demi was trying. Demi's like, I'm going to fight for this person. Like, I absolutely want to win. And so Demi was like fighting. For Demi, it's like, I am going to do my best to get this guy. I absolutely like this guy. I'm going to shoot my shot. Like, that was kind of the way she was going about it. And the surprise that she organized for him on his birthday was very sweet. It was very touching. I think it was a really good move on her part. And I don't think it was just because she was trying to win. I think she really liked him. You know, it's like when you really like someone and you want to fight for the person. That's kind of the vibe that it gave me. So there was a moment that was very emotional, and that was the moment in which she told him that she had, please forgive me if I don't pronounce it well, endometriosis. And I know it's something that has to do with a woman's reproductive system and things like that, like the womb and all of that. So that was very emotional because she said, I think she said she has lost relationships before because of that issue that she had, that she has. And so it was very beautiful to see that he didn't have a problem with it. He was so supportive when she told him that. And you could see the relief on her face. Like, you could see that she was really scared that was going to be the deal breaker. And it was beautiful to see that not only was it not the deal breaker, but that he was very, very understanding. So eventually, Ollie chose her. And when he proposed to her and they were about to go for the reveal and all of that, Demi was a little bit nervous because she was like, I'm not sure, like, is he gonna like me when he sees me? Like, you know what I mean? She's a very pretty girl, so I'm not sure why she felt that way, but she felt that way. And that also was, you know, very touching to see. You could tell that it was something that was really bothering her, like if he would find her attractive, because she felt like, you know, she's more on the curvy side and she felt like it's not for everybody. Some people like that, some people don't. When they did finally get to see each other, I feel like she was incredibly impressed with seeing him and how he looked. That's what I perceived. Now I have to be very, very honest, and I'm just being real with you guys. I don't know if he was as content with seeing her. And again, this is not to say that she's not a beautiful girl. You know, it really just comes down to preference, right? His reaction to me seemed, and I know because I watch Love is Blind, like I've watched all the seasons in the US, so I know when someone is trying to like fake it, when you're trying to act like you like what you're seeing, but you don't. And that's the vibe I got, guys. I got the vibe that he wanted to come across as he was, as you know, almost like, I absolutely am so happy, I like what I'm saying, but it just wasn't, it didn't show. Because like when Freddie and Catherine saw each other, the other couple that I talked about, it was like, you could tell that both of them were super attracted to each other. Both of them were super excited, you could tell. But when it was Demi and Ollie's turn and they saw each other, you could only see that from Demi's side. From Ollie's side, you could see he was very contained in his reaction. He was just trying to seem like he was very happy with what he saw. So I don't know if that will end up being a challenge. And what I will say is, after the part where they saw each other and then they eventually went to Greece, from what I've seen so far, it seems to me like I was right with my initial intuition about how he felt when he saw her. Because he just doesn't give me that very excited vibe. Like you're getting that vibe from almost all the other couples. Like from Freddie and Catherine is like fire. It's like fireworks. It's like, you know, fire is even it's a small description. Fireworks, that's how you describe that. And then there's some other ones as well that we'll get to that is like that. But like with Ollie and Demi, you're seeing that, okay, they both like each other. Demi is excited. You can see that Demi is feeling like Ollie is not very excited. And you can see like, I predict that she will probably start to get in her head and be like, what is going on? Like, do you really like me? Like, tell me, because that's how it's seeming right now. But that's kind of where they are at. So again, this is just the first few episodes. So we'll see what happens after. From the trailer of the upcoming episodes, we could see that they have some tension at some point. Does not surprise me. Now, will they be able to get to the altar and say yes to each other? Guys, I don't know. But I will tell you this, I am rooting for them because I think Ollie is great and I think Demi's a sweet girl as well. So I honestly am rooting for both of them. So let's see if they will be able to get to the altar and say yeah. So we also have Steven. Steven is a gym owner. He is like a teddy bear. That's how I describe him. Like just from what I saw, he just gives you that vibe of soft, sweet guy that is a loving person, like loves to love. That's the vibe that I got from Steven. And of course, he said he's into like CrossFit, which I find interesting. I like CrossFit. And he's a gym owner. So he's into fitness and all of that. So he likes and has been talking to Sabrina, who he ends up proposing to, right? And Sabrina, she gives me a different vibe. Like, I have to be very honest with you guys. I don't know if I'm feeling the Sabrina-Steven relationship. I don't know. I think there's something, I can't quite put my finger on it, but there's something. There's something that is making me hold back from 100% believing that that relationship will work out. From his end, again, like I said, teddy bear. From her end, she gives me the vibe of just the type of woman that may not be able to give a guy like Steven the kind of, I don't think they have the same love language. Maybe that's the word I'm looking for. You know what I say? The kind of affection that he would be looking for. Like, because guys like him that are very affectionate and they're very this and they're very that, they tend to want that in return. She gives me another vibe, coupled with the fact that there was a major issue that was brought up, and that is that she wasn't sure she wanted to have kids. And you could tell that that was going to be a deal breaker for Steven. So they ended up talking it out, and it's like, okay, so she wouldn't have kids at the beginning, but eventually something like that. But for me, it's like, no, if that is an issue, that is something that you guys have to be very, very, very sure that you are on the same page about, because that's not something you can just sweep through or something. No, it's an issue. So I think there was also that made me feel like, I don't know about this relationship. I like Steven. I also like her. I just don't know that I would have I would have matched both of them. You know how sometimes when you're watching Love is Blind, you get to see some other people like that, of course, the other people don't get to see because they just get to talk to, the people through the wall, but you get to see how those other people interact when they're in their own house, right? And so you can sometimes be like, I think this person would be good for this other person, but you're surprised that they never actually tried to, like, it doesn't work out when they talk to each other. So like, I feel like I would have matched Sabrina with somebody else, and probably, honestly, maybe Steven with Demi. Like maybe something like that. You know what I mean? It would have been different if I had to choose. But again, always rooting for the couple. I'm rooting for them. I just don't know if it will work out. But they seemed to like each other when they met each other. When he proposed to her and they saw each other, they seemed to like each other. So we're off to a good start with them. We gotta keep on watching to see what's gonna happen. Oh, this is my favorite part. Sam from London. Oh my goodness. What shall I say about Sam from London? That's how he describes himself, Sam from London. I'm not the one that's calling him that. Sam from London. That's how he calls himself. So, Sam gives off the vibe of someone that is unserious. Some people think he's there for the wrong reasons. That's what some of the guys that are there with him think. But guess what, guys? I don't think that's the problem. I think Sam has issues he has not sorted out. And you can tell because he constantly talks about his appearance. He constantly talks about the nose job that he got. He talks about how he's just looking for someone to love him. He talks about how one of the issues he has is like whenever girls see him, they just think that he's unserious, but in reality, he's actually looking for love. And let me tell you, the moment he said this particular thing, right, about girls usually not thinking he's serious, I knew immediately there was a reason why. Because I am a woman. If I think you're unserious as a guy, it's because you're doing something that makes me think that. So if you are saying that this is what you experience from multiple women, then I know automatically in that moment you're doing something wrong. Because if it's one person, maybe you can say it's a coincidence. But if it's repeated, it's not a coincidence. It's something you're doing. Something you're doing and something you're not doing. You know what I mean? And eventually, guess what? We saw that. We saw exactly what the problem was. So he was talking to Jasmine and Nicole. And he was leaning towards Jasmine. Jasmine, by the way, is gorgeous. She is a mental health nurse. She is so sweet. She's very pretty, very intelligent. Just adore her, really. And he was talking to her, and you could tell that she was trying to get deep with him. Like, she was trying to, like, get to know him, understand him, build a real connection. And he was unable to do that. And let me tell you, I don't think it's because he didn't want to. I don't think he knew how to. I think he's so guarded. I think he's so not in tune with himself, if that makes sense. That he comes across in a way that he thinks you want him to come across. You can tell that he is trying to be perceived in a way instead of just being himself. I don't even know if Sam knows at this point in his life how to be himself. And it's nothing against him. It just means he needs time to, like, really do some work and grow and learn. And it's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But, like, of course, if you are at that point in your life, I don't know that that's a good time to get married. You know what I mean? Realistically, you need to do the work first and then talk about starting a family. So you could tell that Jasmine was trying to give him a chance, but Sam did not know how to be himself. And so he was trying to be something which was coming across as just being fake. So for that reason, Jasmine did not choose him. She ended up breaking up with him and choosing someone else. He acted like he was very hurt by it. I actually believe that he was, But I think what he was hurt by the most was the rejection. Not so much Jasmine herself, but just for him, it was like yet another person that has rejected him. You could tell that he was emotional, but like I said, it had to do with that rejection. For me, I think it was a trigger for him. And so he immediately was like, okay, now I have to make it work with Nicole. And the way he approached it was, how am I going to tell Nicole everything she wants to hear so to ensure that she chooses me so I don't get rejected yet another time? And what happened around that time was Nicole was also talking to another guy called Benaya. And she was leaning towards Benaya. For I think most of the time they were talking, she was leaning towards Benaya. But then Benaya at a certain point was like, he wasn't sure that he wanted to propose, that he was still thinking about it, he wasn't sure. So that kind of made Nicole feel like, okay, if Benaya is not sure, I better give more attention to Sam from London. Now, around that same time that she was like, I better give more attention to Sam, that was around the same time that Sam got rejected from Jasmine and therefore was trying hard to get Nicole to choose him. So you see what I'm saying? Like the two things just happened at the same time. And so she ended up choosing him, Sam. She ended up choosing Sam. And he proposed to her and whatnot. And let me tell you guys, everything about that union just seemed like it wasn't going to work. But not because Sam is not there for the right reasons, because I know it's what some people would say, but because on one end you have someone who chose him, and that is Nicole chose him because she wasn't sure Benaya was going to be serious. And then you have Sam that kind of fought for her because he didn't want to get rejected, because he had just gotten rejected from his first choice, which was Jasmine. So that already tells you a recipe for failure. It was obvious that it was not going to work. And we could see that eventually when they did the reveal and they saw each other, Nicole did not like him. I honestly am not sure why. I was surprised at that because he's actually a good looking guy. Sam is a good looking guy. So I was like, why did she not like him? Maybe he wasn't her type. Maybe she has a specific type that she likes and she had envisioned probably Sam looking like that. And when she saw that he was not the way that she envisioned, she just automatically was like turned off. From his end, he seemed to like what he saw, but then with Sam, you never know. Like, again, Sam he's really not himself, so you never know what he's really thinking, right? So, yeah, but after the reveal, we saw that when others went to Mexico, they didn't because they broke up. We don't know yet what led to the breakup. Of course, so at the time that I'm filming this, the new episodes haven't come out yet. By the time you guys watch it, probably they would have come out, but I will be releasing another video in which I'll be talking about that. So we don't know yet exactly what happened, but we could see from the trailer that they had issues and they broke up, and so they didn't go to Mexico and whatnot. So that's it for that. That kind of ended before it even started. Really didn't surprise anyone. I think the only thing that was surprising is we were all thinking it was going to be Sam that was going to screw it up, but it ended up being Nicole that didn't even want to give it a try. So that was surprising. But let's see what happened. Like, let's really see what really went wrong. So I briefly mentioned Jasmine when I was talking about Sam, right? Jasmine ended up choosing Bobby. And you know what? I was okay with it. To be honest, are they my favorite couple? No. Their union is not very exciting, which sometimes is good because exciting doesn't always last. It's not very exciting. It's just very, very chill. It's like, it's almost very logical, and logical may be good, but does it necessarily make for good TV? Not really, does it? But like, again, I like Jasmine. And maybe because she's a mental health nurse, I don't know why, but I just really like her. I love anything that has people that are into mental health and that like help people. So I think that's why I like her. So again, I'm rooting for her. Do I think that when they saw each other, they were attracted to each other? Bobby absolutely was attracted to Jasmine. You could tell Bobby was like, what? I think Jasmine had already like conditioned her mind to just kind of be okay with whatever. because she did say that he isn't her typical type. She described her type, and Bobby don't align at all. Obviously, if they hadn't met through the experiment, probably he's not a guy that she would have gone for in the outside world. However, because she's so introspective, and because I think she was really taking the experiment seriously, she had already conditioned her mind to falling in love with who this person is as a person. I'll be fine with however this person looks. And Bobby is not an ugly guy. So just because he isn't her type doesn't mean that she can't still find him attractive, if you get what I mean. So I think eventually they'll be fine. I actually think they will work out. That's the couple that I think will work out. Again, they just don't have much drama. They don't really have drama. They don't really have, even in the trailer, I don't think I saw any drama with them. So I think they're going to be like one of those couples that they don't get a whole lot of view time, maybe because there's not a lot going on in their relationship, but that they'll end up at the altar and saying yes, and it will just work out. I think I would say that about them. And lastly, we have Tom, who was talking to Natasha and Maria. So I gotta be careful with this one, because I honestly believed he was gonna pick Natasha. And it's not because there's anything wrong with Maria, because Maria is a very beautiful woman and I think she's great too, but it's just the way Tom and Natasha were connecting in the pods. I mean, come on. And I want to hear your opinion on that too, because listen, I watched that relationship very carefully, right? Natasha just, again, she came across as just a very vulnerable, sweet girl that was looking for a serious relationship, was looking to get married, you know, and she talked about having issues, I think, with self-esteem before, because she recently lost weight and whatnot. Like, so she talked about all of those things, and she was very open, which I found very, I respected that, because it's not easy to do. And with him, she was open. With him, she was vulnerable. So the way they connected, guys, that was like, it was a no-brainer that he was gonna go for her. But I think that the very reason why they connected, which was her being so open to him, is the same reason why he ended up not picking her. I honestly think that, because he said that he is worried that with Natasha, it's gonna be more of like a friend kind of vibe, and not like, there's not gonna be like maybe sexual attraction or whatever. What would make you think that? If not that maybe you have envisioned her in a way and now you're thinking that. What has made you envision her that way? The things that maybe you heard from her, the things that she discussed with you. I think that's what it was, because all of a sudden he started showing more attention to Maria. Now, him and Maria did not connect the way him and Natasha connected, because Maria is a way more guarded kind of person. She said it from the outside, like she's not like the kind of like open and vulnerable kind of person, right? So their conversations were way more surface level, which was why I thought he was gonna pick Natasha. But there was something about the way she sounded that made him feel like, I will be very attracted to this woman. I don't understand why Tom, he's 38 years old, and with all this time and experience behind him, you know, that he has at his disposal, put so much emphasis on sexual attraction. Like, wasn't the whole point of the experiment to fall in love with who somebody is? So why did you pick the person that you felt you would be the most attracted to as against the person that you connected with the most? Like, I honestly didn't think that was a good choice. And this has nothing to do with not liking Maria. I think Maria is great. I just don't think Maria was great for Tom. You get what I mean? Like, I feel like Maria would have been great for another type of guy. That was why she wasn't that open with Tom. Natasha, on the other hand, was just so, I mean, it was such an obvious connection. even when he broke up with her, Natasha, I think, still believes that they will somehow find each other again. I don't know, because I think she said something to that effect where it's like she didn't really believe it was over. But that makes you understand, like, for Natasha, this connection is real. And for us, the viewers, it looked real. So what happened? What happened? And okay, in fairness to Tom, when him and Maria did see, so he proposed to Maria and there was the reveal and they saw each other, he was very, 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 very attracted to Maria. You could tell, like, you could tell. And then when they went to Greece after the reveal, you could tell that he could not keep his hands off Maria. You could tell that. It was just from the way he was talking about her, the way he was looking at her and all of that. But you guys know that that's not enough for marriage. Like, I feel like Tom made it all about sexual attraction and sex. And let me tell you, I think he would have been attracted to Natasha too. Because even though Natasha and Maria have two different kind of beauties, Natasha is a very beautiful girl. So I don't think his reason for not picking her is valid. I think he would have still liked her. But let me tell you, I am curious to see if outside of this sexual attraction that he is feeling towards Maria, if there's anything else. I'm very curious to see. Like, I want to see, number one, if they even get to the altar. Number two, if they say yes. And number three, if they do say yes, do they work out afterwards? Because I haven't seen any substance in the relationship yet. Do I want to see it? Yes, because I'm always rooting for the couples in Love is Blind. You know me, I want the best for everybody. So I'm rooting, but I haven't seen it yet. You have to give me something. So I'm gonna be watching and taking notes and keeping you posted on what happens next. Of course, you guys know what happens next because you probably watched the show yourselves. But you know, like, my views on it, you know, that's what I'm doing here. So at this juncture, I think I have talked about all the couples. I don't think I've missed out anybody. We can absolutely say that the season so far is great. They did a great job with the casting. The first thing I noticed about the casting is that they picked people that were mature and actually ready to get married. I don't think there's one person in that cast that seemed to me like they were not there for the right reasons, including Sam from London. Really, including him. I just think he had other issues. So that was good on their part. Probably also because it's their first season in the UK, so they're getting it right for now. Unlike in the US, then now the casting is horrible. Let's hope they get it right the next time. So there's a lot to look forward to. I'm excited to keep on watching. As usual, do not leave me here to be talking to myself. All you Love is Blind lovers, go into the comment section. Tell me what you think. Tell me your views. Tell me if you disagree. Tell me who you're rooting for, who you think is not there for the right reasons. Just let me know all of it. I'll be happy to reply to the comments and see you next time. But as usual, I'll send you love, peace, light, all of it. Bye, guys.